there. Today I'm going to talk to you about why I and my entire family was the GM diehards, then we switched to Toyota. Alright there, so I'm going to compare this 2007 Chevy Trailblazer to my girlfriend's 2000 Toyota Celica. Now you might be asking, why are you comparing a essentially truck to a sports car? Because it's the only GM we have left, and it's the only sport or car that I have available at the moment. So that's why I needed two old cars. It's the only old car I have available. But anyways, so this is a 2007 Trailblazer. That's actually not a bad SUV there. It's an actual off-roader. Trust me, we've gone off-road with this sucker. Especially these big chunky tires. That's the important thing, big chunky tires. The problem with it is little tiny things constantly break. For example, the rear parking brake. The entire drum rusted out, it's gone. Doesn't exist. The tire assembly gone. So you have this there, but no parking brake. The water pump, it dies every 30,000 miles. Yeah, easy fix, but dies every 30,000 miles. The power steering, as you saw, broken. Doesn't work. So it's got a lot of flaws, and it's only got a little over 100,000 miles on. So you know, it could do better. Could do better. And I really don't know why, because it's actually one of the best GM vehicles that we've ever owned. Most reliable when you think about it, besides our was it a 98 Jimmy, that was very reliable as well. Why they killed it? But I have a theory. I think this is what happened. So, dear Bob, this Trailblazer here. Government says we gotta kill things with our bailout. Does it break down? That's the most important thing. No, they're not really. It's pretty reliable, I'd say. It doesn't have too many problems. You're telling me the head gasket doesn't blow, the drive chain doesn't stop, four-wheel drive constantly works. It doesn't have any problems? No, the only flaw I know it has is the water pump. About every 30,000 miles you gotta replace it, so that's a problem. I mean, it rusts a little bit, but that's all of our cars. You know, we make them rust. They're designed that way. This water pump issue, does it take a lot of work and is it really expensive to fix? No, it's like 80 bucks and it takes like 2 hours to fix. Yeah, it's pretty easy to kill it. That's how I think it went when they were doing this car. They had a great 4.2-liter inline six that didn't break down. I mean, we put about 130,000 miles on this thing, which for GM is a lot. Coils seem to work, everything works real well. Drivetrain worked good, the CV joints are going, but for a GM, it's going pretty good there, you know? Especially the Chevy Trailblazers, it's a good car, especially the inline six. V8, I've not heard such good things, but GM didn't want to do that. That wouldn't make money. Make the car last? They would kill that thing. So that's what they did. Killed it. Replaced it with a Traverse. Oh, and they put a nice little nifty thing in there. It's left 100,000 miles and warranty's out. The timing chain starts to get loose and then the whole engine blows up. Smart idea there. Yeah, timing chain this never fails. Oh, that was a design flaw, having the engine and not blow itself up. I know, right? Crazy. Let's take a look at a car that's got even more miles than this, is older than this, and is doing even better than this. Alright there. This is a car I'm going to compare the Trailblazer to. That's right. Sports car. Here's two reasons why. The first car there that as a family we got that was a Toyota was the 2007 Toyota Prius. The one I currently own. My parents bought back in 2009. And then, me still being a GM diehard even though my parents abandoned me, I was like, I'm not going to buy one. I'm going to stick with my piece of crap Chevy. What was it even called?
Cavalier.
And it was a piece of crap, that's for sure. I'll tell you why. First of all, the water pump, of course, like all GM's water pump. Head gasket, of course, I had to replace the head gasket. The brakes, they kept going because they would warp, and then I bought aftermarket brakes, and then I ended up giving the car anyways. The ignition went, and there's not even coils. That went. Then it had a radiator leak, I had to fix that. Then the ignition switch went, so I had to put a push button to start it because the ignition switch thing with the pass lock too. Security system locked up, so that cost $800 to fix. And then I was like, freaking, I'm not worried with that, ignition switch. It was a whole bunch of stuff. And in the 5 years I owned the Cavalier, I had all these problems. And started a car that only had 90,000 miles on it. Do I admit I put a lot of miles on the car? Not too much more than anyone else. At the end I had 108,000 miles on it. And then at the last 30,000, no, it didn't have a lot of problems. But it had all those problems at a young age for an engine. That's ridiculous. You shouldn't have any problems with an engine that's major until 200,000 miles. And GM had an engine that did that. The Trailblazer. And they killed it. They had the 4.3 liter in the Jimmy and the old Blazer. They killed that. And then my girlfriend bought a 1992 Toyota Celica GT. And after that, no more GM for me. Because that thing didn't break. It worked. Now that thing had a car accident, still runs today. That means getting transmission, still runs. Quiet. So it had a car accident. It's bent to dogs technically. Hit a barrier, still runs. Driving when I only had maybe first, third, and fourth. But it never broke down on me. It always drove me home. Clutch isn't too hard to replace. The engine's pretty easy to work under. And it's just basic maintenance. Same with this thing. Now I admit that the fuel filler cap is missing. I'll also admit that the clutch needs to be replaced. And a bearing in the back is making noise. But we replaced the bearing on the Trailblazer. And replaced the suspension on the Trailblazer. And the brakes. And ignition coils. So it's not like this has any more maintenance than that. It just has less problems. The power steering works excellently. The air conditioning worked great. Oh, they mentioned Trailblazer air conditioning doesn't work no more. It did. No more. This does. And it's pretty much all started with my parents buying a Prius. And I was still not converted until I drove a Celica. So the fact is, you drive a GM now, you gotta convert. 210,000 miles, no major maintenance. On that thing, 130,000 miles, some major maintenance, but my Cavalier, 150. Whole butt ton of major maintenance. And I'll tell you what, GM hasn't gotten better. They don't want to make cars that last, they want to make cars that make them money. And that's why we switched to Toyota. Because they make cars that last. Are they making money on bearings and other stuff like that? Sure. They gotta make money somewhere. You know, suspension can't last forever. Brakes can't last forever. So that's why we switched to Toyota. I'm Shane. This has been Throttle Thursdays. Keep shifting.